Hello everyone, I am Imran Ali, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Greater Noida. This is lecture 30, Unit 4. This lecture is about global supply chain management, in which I would be discussing about what is global supply chain and what are the advantages of global supply chain, and it will be with respect to the China and several other countries, how they are developing their supply chain across the globe. Global supply chain, it is the organizations are in the position to sell their product and they are in the position to market their product and services across the globe. Now, the global supply chain has become important since the globalization is there. Now, the countries and companies are doing their businesses across the globe. It is now there is no foundation that companies are expected to do their businesses only in their own country. Indian companies are going into Africa, have established their businesses and performing excellent. Indian companies have established their operation into Europe and into America, and American and European companies are coming into India and performing businesses out here. Now, when there is no foundation of locality, there is no foundation of geography, it has become important for the organization that their supply chain need to be global and they are capable to make their product available in any part of the globe wherever the demand exists and make their product easily available to the customer. So, the global supply chain are network that can span across multiple continent and countries for the purpose of sourcing and supplying of goods and services. So, this global supply chain, it is that company it is capable to do business or to supply its goods and services across the world. It is they can provide their services in Asia, they can provide their services in Africa, they can provide their services in Europe, they can provide their services into Western Asia, I mean to say the Gulf countries. So, this is what the companies are expected to increase their supply all across the world, so that they are capable to supply their goods wherever the demand is there. Nowadays, you say particularly in India and China, companies are increasingly established their supply chain in India. Recently, we have seen that Apple has started manufacturing in India, and gradually this manufacturing space in India from Apple is likely to increase. So, why this decision has been taken by Apple that we will manufacture here and we will market our product over here? Because considering the business potential or the potential of the Indian economy, Apple had realized that it is better for the company to stay into this particular market, develop product over here and supply here. Once the Apple will manufacture the product in India and it will supply to its customer too, then supply chain will be much more customer responsive and they would be in the position to meet the customer's need and demand immediately. So, always it is advisable for the companies, if market is large, business potential is huge, better it is to have your supply chain in that particular country, so that immediate supply can be made or you are in the position to supply good as per the need and requirement of the customer. So, since I am talking about the Apple, it is expanding its supply chain across the world. It is expanding its supply chain into Asia, it is expanding its supply into Africa. So, company, since it would have a global supply chain, it would be able to cater the customer across the globe. and that is why it is not only Apple, there are several companies across the world, they are having their presence into multiple countries and they are developing their supply chain globally. It is Hyundai, it is MI, it is Vivo, Oppo and several other organizations are there. They are developing their supply chain globally. If you say Saudi Aramco, it is a largest oil company of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Aramco has done some agreement with Chinese government. They will be continue to supply their oil to Chinese economy. Similarly, India also, India approximately 85% of the energy requirements are being imported, particularly oil, it is being imported from Saudi Arabia or Iran and several other countries too. Now, this Saudi Arabia or Saudi Aramco realizing the potential or the consumption requirement of oil in China and India, they are trying to develop their supply chain across the globe, that wherever they are, they must be present over there, refining must be done by themselves there only and start selling their product and services over there only. So, we will identify Aramco will make its supply much more global, will be having presence across the countries or across the geography, so that they can better meet the requirement of countries in terms of exporting oil or supplying the oil. Similarly, we have seen during COVID-19 supply of pharmaceutical product or it is personal protective equipment has become important. Okay. China, it is exporting 40% of the pharmaceutical requirement to Africa, 54 countries of Africa. So, this China has realized that Africa as a continent has a huge potential for the businesses. If China is having a strong supply chain in that particular market or in that particular area, they will be able to capture the larger market share over there and they would be able to do businesses there. So, what global supply chain will ensure and how global supply chain will facilitate to the company, it will ensure that the company is having presence across the geography, companies having business presence across the countries, and the business is being done on time and as per the requirement of the customer and businesses. So, China has identified the opportunity during COVID that we need to export to this country and develop and establish their supply chain in these countries, so that we can develop over here. Next, it is about USA and China trade war has happened and several goods were in scarcity. Even if you say the United States of America under Donald Trump regime, they put certain sanction on Iran and Iran was not in the position to supply its oil to India and several other countries also. So, now somewhere the supply got affected, but now the discussion is going on between Biden and this Iranian government and there is a possibility might be sanction can take off. So, in case if the sanction goes off, India would be able to take oil from Iran, Iran would also be able to supply its oil to world across. So, any country who is having the potential, who is having the brand image and they are being perceived positively by their consumer, they are being suggested that please go in all the country wherever you can go and start your businesses. See, Wipro has been there into Africa, Godrej has already entered there, Bharti Airtel has entered into Africa and doing excellent into telecommunication industry. So, gradually over a period of time, companies are in the position to develop their supply chain global, so that they are in the position to meet the requirement anywhere from the world. See, considering the expansion and adoption of the 5G services, demand for the Huawei technologies or Nokia, they are likely to increase. Huawei known for the 5G equipment or technological gear. So, if this kind of demand goes up across the world for 5G services, Huawei, Nokia, Ericsson, their equipment, their technological telecom gears are going to be demand across the world. So, supply chain in today's scenario in the global arena, it is important, and companies which have the international orientation, they need to develop global supply chain and make it stronger, so that you are in the position to develop a strong business in this market. Next, recently we have seen that the RCEP, it is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. It is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Economic Partnership Agreement has came into existence. So, this RCEP has came into existence, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. It has came into existence among 15 countries, and India is not the part of that. And the major influence in RCEP of China. China is having a strong influence over it. So, these 15 countries, when they have come into a group, their supply chain will be more stronger and strengthened. And this will be the part of the global supply chain, that countries, being 15 countries together, they will be able to import and export their goods and services at some ease without any hassle, and their businesses are expected to grow exponentially. A global supply chain utilizes low cost country sourcing and refer to the procurement of the product and services from the country with the lower labor and reduce the production from the home country. The word reverse engineering is being used. Now, companies like Ford or General Motors, Jaguar and Land Rover, several other companies from America and Europe, earlier they used to produce in America, they sell or export to India and developing countries like this. But now reverse is happening. They are manufacturing in India, they are manufacturing in China or several other countries, and then from here they are exporting back to America, Europe, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, in several countries. Now, this reverse has happened. Why this reverse phenomena has occurred? It is because in India or China or in other developing countries, the cost of labor is low, and total cost of the production relative to the Europe and America, it is much lower. Then this lower cost has facilitated or helped these companies to come establish their unit of manufacturing in developing countries like India and China, and manufactured items should be supplied back to their home country, and this way companies would be able to sell out and to manufacture their product at the lower cost. So, it will make these company more competitive and more they will be able to provide their product at affordable rate. So, this is how the reverse engineering came into existence, and reverse engineering has enabled a global supply chain. Now, you manufacture into India, you manufacture into China, manufacture into Indonesia, manufacture into Taiwan, and supply it back to the home countries, USA or any European countries. So, this is how global supply chain also become important for the companies to ensure that their product are of low cost and affordable across the geographies. Next, it is the advantages of the global supply chain. First, it is the reduced cost price. Global supply chain supply chain has facilitated the company, helped the organization to lower down the cost of production by shifting their manufacturing plant or manufacturing unit to the developing countries like India and China or Taiwan, Indonesia or several other countries, and this way companies are capable to lower down their total cost of production. So, ultimately we will say that companies are trying to develop their global supply chain and locating or manufacturing where the prices are lower and supplying it back where the prices are higher. So, this way they will be able to earn higher prices. See in the case of Canada, United States of America and Mexico, cost of manufacturing in Mexico is much lower as compared to USA. Various companies are there manufacturing into Mexico, and these manufactured item has been supplied back to USA. So, this is the way how this cost has been reduced by establishing the global supply chain. So, global supply chain facilitate the company to manufacture where the cost is low and sold out your product, sell your product where the prices are higher, and that is how you will be able to do better business across the globe. Next, it is about the supplier development into the global supply chain. Supplier play a very important role. Supplier are the people who are supplying certain component. Suppliers are the group of company or the people who are supplying raw material. So, since we are expected to make our global supply much more sharp and strengthened, our suppliers should also be reliable, our suppliers should be strong enough, so that the immediate requirement can be met by our supplier. See, on behalf of Apple, there are several companies, it is Foxconn, it is Wistron, they are manufacturing mobile handset on behalf of Apple, and these supplier has to follow and they need to be reliable, and time to time Apple is organizing certain training program for their supplier to know the requirement or standardization of the company, so that the supplier developments can be took place. Next, it is about opportunities to increase innovation. Global supply chain management will ensure that products are innovative, products are having new design, new feature, research and development activities are being made. See, in India, especially in Bangalore, various multinational companies has established their research and development unit in India, and they are doing lot of innovation over here. It is Qualcomm, it is Broadcom, and there are several organizations. Tesla has also come up. So, lot of expenditure is happening on R&D, and lot of design and feature innovation is happening into Indian market. So, this is ensuring that innovation will be done in India or anywhere the cost is low, and this innovation, it is being utilized across the world wherever the market. A new design of a automobile product came into a it is Zara, it is Mark and Spencer, it is H&M, any apparel retailing company, they are innovating the design and identifying that where there is a possibility, then they can sell out their product. So, this innovation and research and development is very important, and this can happen when our supply chain it is global and we are in sync with each other. Next, it is sharing expertise and upskilling a new market. Global supply chain help and facilitate us to share our expertise. The Indian companies or the companies from developing countries are in the position to share their experiences with the other countries. When the Walmart had decided to have business in India, they had approached to the Procter and Gamble, because it is again from United States of America, that to share certain business practices, marketing practices, or certain information about the Indian market, how it is, how does it function. So, globally, when your supply chain is global, you are having enough information about different economies and different geography. You can share your expertise, and accordingly you can develop the market, you can develop the skill of your employees accordingly, so that you are able to do better into. Now, if you say Africa is a new market for most of the companies, either Indian or American or European, since it is a newer market, the first they will try to know something about the trends into this market, how the people's culture it is, how they like and dislike, what kind of shopping trends are over there. So, these had to be shared by when the supply chain is globally connected. Next, it is about competition. Intensity of competition is growing very exponentially. And why this intensity is increasing? Because companies are competing for a larger market share, and since there is no foundation of geography now, due to globalization, companies can enter into any country and start their businesses. So, your global supply chain or strong global supply chain will help you to compete better and supply your products more efficiently as compared to other organization into the businesses. Next, what are the different disadvantages of the global supply chain? The first, it is the longer lead time. Lead time, it is what? It is the time taken when once we have placed the order and finally the order has reached to the customer. Longer time can be taken in some product which are more complicated and which are very difficult to manufacture, like aircraft manufacturing or any capital goods or heavy machinery. On the other hand, FMCG, personal care, health care, the FMCG category products are much easier to manufacture. So, in the FMCG category of the product, our lead time will be low, and in the complicated product or difficult to manufacture product, our lead time it is going to be longer. So, in case of the global supply chain, if our products are moving from one country to the other or from one geography to the other geography, then the time would be taking longer, and this longer time may not be more suitable for the customer or even for the company, because generally customer do not prefer to wait for a longer span of time. So, the global supply chain, it is having a disadvantages of global supply. Next, it is about the reputational risk. Reputational risk, it is concerned about brand image, it is perception of the company. So, if the perception of the company is strong into any particular geography or area, and they enter into a new geography or into a new country to maintain a global supply chain, maybe their perception or the reputation is not same, or they are running at the verge of certain risk. So, it happened, for example, Apple in America or till now it is being considered a premium brand, but when will it will start doing its business and having a strong supply chain in India, China or other developing countries, will the brand image or the perception will remain same, or its brand image or perception is likely to be distorted. There was a discussion among the business group that Apple should also manufacture affordable handset or low cost handset. But there was a question that if Apple start manufacturing low cost or affordable mobile handset, its brand image is likely to get affected. So, better or advisable for Apple or for Samsung it is that they should remain into their existing segment rather than moving to a newer one. Next, it is about the fluctuation into exchange rate. Exchange rate, it is the rate at which you will exchange your currency with the currency of the other country. You are going to exchange your rupee with the dollar, you are going to exchange rupee with the dirham, you are going to exchange rupee with the real, you are going to exchange rupee with the rupiah, or the several currencies across. So, this exchange rate do not remain same, it change every time, every second, every. So, if it got appreciated, it is difficult for the importer, because they will have to pay high and they will have to pay more money. In case is get depreciated, it is going to be more beneficial for the importer, because they are going to get a larger payment. So, the into the global supply chain, we will be dealing with the multiple currencies, or each currency is having its own exchange rates. There is a possibility of fluctuation or changes into rate that might become a cause of loss. See, in the case of the software companies, challenges into the communication, every country have its own language, own culture. So, into global supply chain, communicating with each of them would be a challenge. Next, it is about the loss of control. Since we are present into multiple countries, a company might lose its control on supply chain. Next, what are the major benefit of the global supply chain? The first, it is increase efficiency. Global supply chain will facilitate large scale production. That is why company would be able to achieve certain economies of scale, lower down the price and increase efficiency into the production. Better utilization of the resources, expand sourcing option. You can opt the sourcing option anywhere in the world. Expanding sourcing option eliminate waste and improve good services. So, these are the major advantages of this global supply chain. Outsourcing is one of the option into the global supply chain, that company do not want to manufacture by itself. Company want to give it to other one who are more expertise, who are more specialized in that particular field, and they can manufacture on behalf of the company. So, this kind of activities are being called outsourcing. Somebody else is doing on behalf of you, because he is more specialized or expert in that particular area. But this outsourcing happen into global supply chain or into global businesses. It depends whether this outsourcing is happening into your own market or into the global. So, it could be offshore manufacturing. You can ask anybody else to manufacture in any other country on your behalf where the cost is low, or it is offshore outsourcing. You just have outsource into the international market. It is local production or insourcing. So, everything will get local. You are going to outsource this, but outsourcing would be done into local market or into your own geography. Next, it is about onshore outsourcing. It is going to be within your country, the outsourcing will take place rather than moving into international market. So, if into the global supply chain outsourcing has to play a role, it has to be decided either outsourcing should be done in your domestic country or it should be done into the international market. So, it was all about the global supply chain management, and why this global supply chain is effective or important for the organization. Thank you so much.